Dear learners, in this session we would be discussing about various methods of generating the income, which is very important aspect for NGOs. We'll be trying to understand the concept of income, the sources of income, why income is very important for NGOs. In fact, as we know that income is important for everybody, whether it's an individual, whether it's a family, whether it's an institution, whether it's an organization, the corporate house, the NGO. Income is important in all areas of life. So if the income is not there, then it becomes difficult to survive. Similarly, it happens with the NGOs also, and it is very important to understand what is income. How is income generated? How can the income be generated? And what are the reasons that we require the income for NGOs? What is an income? Income, if you see the word meaning of income, that means something which is coming in. Some kind of entity which is coming in is income. In monetary terms, we say that income is the money earned by the organization by selling the goods or offering certain kinds of services. So, usually in the corporate houses, if they are into the selling part, they sell the goods, they generate income through them. The money is earned by selling the goods, even while offering the services. Like in the institution, in educational institutions, there are faculty who are being given the salary, the staff is being given the salary for offering various services. There are law houses, then there are law firms are there, then you have medical nursing homes where the doctors, they offer the services and then they generate the income or earn the money by providing their services. So income can be in any form. It can be by selling the goods or offering the services. Income can be earned through deposits, through savings account where the interest is being provided by the respective banks, through loans are also termed as incomes. The deposits can be in any form. It can be the fixed deposit, it can be the short-term deposits, it can be the long-term deposits. Now, if we just go back pre-independence era or a little in say 100 years back, you will find that there were some kind of landlords and they had accountants also who were called as munis. They used to the income was used to through the deposits in the form of they just took the money in form of mortgage or any kind. They used to have the houses being mortgaged and then they used to give the money, and that money while returning the principal amount, the interest was also calculated on it. Similarly, the same thing is now happening through banks and the small money lenders or money providers. If you see, there are different self-help groups also working on these kind of activities also. So interest earned is also an income for the party who has given the money. Dividend earned on shares is also termed as income. If you are trading in shares, then the dividends earned on those shares is also termed as income. There are various sources of income for any NGO. Income can come from donations, income can come from interest on investments, income can come from membership fees, income can come from fees for a service, income can come from sale of goods which are being developed or which are being manufactured by that particular NGO. Services. Now, if we talk about the services, NGOs, they offer different types of services at reasonable prices or reasonable, you can say, on the economical or subsidized rates. For example, The schools and hospitals operated by an NGO, it offers quality education and healthcare at affordable price to the community who cannot afford high healthcare or high prices in big hospitals or in high class educational institutions. So NGOs, they team up and then they work for these people who are downtrodden, who are not able to afford certain services, so they provide certain services. Very good example of such kind of services being provided is providing the ambulance facility. During COVID times also, you must have seen that the ambulance facility was provided by many of the NGOs free of cost to the people who could not afford the healthcare education. Similarly, it is with the education of the children of the underprivileged class. Income generated from these services can be a part of finance for other charitable development work as well. So they generate the income and that income is rotated and used for the charitable work. NGOs can also do consultancy in areas of environmental issues and then they generate income. So there are trainings, there are workshops, there are consultancies through different NGOs which provide their services, and then they can generate the income through these services being offered to the institutions or the individuals at a higher level. Skilled work. Communities living in a particular region are specialized in a particular skill. So NGOs, they can employ the handicraft workers from these communities, and then they can generate income by making that or manufacturing that particular product for which they are skilled. And NGOs can employ the handicraft workers, for example, from the different communities, and they give them the raw material and acquire the finished goods from them for sale. These handicraft goods can be sold in the market to generate income. Now, if you go to many of the nature bazaars or many of the hearts, many of the handicraft exhibitions, you would find there are stalls of NGOs also who provide certain kinds of goods. They sell certain kinds of goods like bags, like blankets, like duvets, like you can say bed covers, bed sheets, pillow covers, sheets, etc. They provide different kind of material for sale, and they say that this has been developed by these particular the artisans who are working in that particular NGOs. Now I'll give you a very good example of the use of skilled work, and this NGO, this kind of activity in the community was started at Tihar jail. And Tihar jail, they manufacture you can say they do the masalas for cooking, and then they produce say incense sticks, then even the shirts, the regular shirts for and the clothing line for everybody. They produce these things and these are sold in the market, and they generate income through this. So this is a part of the NGO which has been working in these categories using the skilled work for generating the income. Now we have another example from Himachal Pradesh, or you can take any of the examples from any of the states where a particular skill is being produced. In Himachal Pradesh, it is more of you can say woolen stuff. So you have, if you want certain kinds of specialized Kullu designed shawls, that can be done by employing local people who need certain kind of support, and the NGOs, they set up these facilities. There are a number of NGOs who are working with these people to produce these shawls and take it to the market and supply it to the customers who require it, and then generate the income. So NGOs, they can also export such kind of products overseas, and these products can also be used for the fundraising activities, which we will see in the next session in the fundraising campaigns part. Agriculture and allied activities. When I'm talking about the skilled survey work, there are a number of services which are being associated with it. So you have agricultural and allied activities also, where NGOs take up agricultural activities, especially in the rural basis. There are NGOs active in the rural areas where they provide certain agricultural produces, like organic farming, like produces organic produce, which is being provided to the customers in the local market. So they can indulge in activities such as gardening, dairy or poultry farming. The NGOs, they can involve local people in these projects, and these projects can be taken up as development work by the NGOs, and then such activities can generate certain kind of income. Micro enterprises. Usually this happens in the self-help groups. We have given a number of examples. Seva is one of the examples of micro enterprise. They can set up small business in the area where they take the development work. They can set up microfinance units to give loans to local people at low rate of interest. The interest charged is the income for the NGOs. Now, self-help groups also work as NGOs, and these micro enterprises, they help the local community to stand on their own feet and survive in the difficult time. NGOs can also set up small business units in the rural areas, such as grocery stores, cyber cafes, local library or Xerox units. Many voluntary organizations are also interested in documentation and dissemination of information. For example, the environmental issues, because in the sustainable development goals, what we have talked about, environment is one of the major issues. So most of the NGOs, they apart from their integral part, apart from their services like providing education to girl child, etc., they also work for the environmental issues. So these issues can be documented and the message spread in the form of flyers or small booklets on a certain price. So if these information, the documented information about awareness of environmental issues is provided in form of a book which costs something, which has a price to it, this is also a form of generating the income. Now, this form of income generation has its own advantages as it promotes the organizational objectives. Also, it promotes the standing of the NGO in the particular community and also helps in generating the income. Interest on investments. This is another activity through which this is another method through which the income can be generated. The NGOs, they can invest the earned income or excess funds in different securities such as government bonds, bank deposits, post office schemes, insurance bonds or mutual funds. Most of the NGOs, what happens is they invest in bank deposits, go in for government bonds if they are a little bigger NGOs, and of course they invest in the post office schemes. And the interest earned, because most of these interests, they are non-taxable in nature, so the interest earned non-taxable for the NGOs. So the interest earned on these investments, they generate the income for the NGOs for other kinds of activities or development activities. The interest earned on these funds, they can be invested and can be used for other projects as well. There are certain issues in income generation, because one has to be very careful that the transparency and accountability has to be maintained. We have been discussing this concept, the ethical form of income generation or form of functioning of NGOs. The governance part is very important. So there are certain issues while generating the income, and these should be taken care of while generating the income. Let us see some of the legal issues. They can be trade licenses. There must be some licenses. If license is required for a particular activity, the license should be taken and then the activity should be performed for generating the income. The power in memorandum of association. We have talked about these particular aspects. I'm just repeating and reviewing it here because they are very important for income generation. If the NGO is not going in for memorandum of association, then it may be in trouble because then there is no liability on the other party. So if anything goes wrong, the whole liability comes on the NGO itself. Registration compliances should be maintained and other statutory requirements should be fulfilled. Tax issues. Filing of income tax returns, which is a mandatory part for the NGOs if they are more than 3 years old and the income exceeds to a certain limit. So filing of income tax returns is a mandatory requirement. Calculating the profits, audit for profit making entities should be done every year and should follow the Foreign Contributions Regulation Act FCRA rules also if they are exporting certain goods or importing certain goods. So these kind of activities should be in line with the governmental rules and regulations so that the transparency is maintained while generating the income. There are quality issues also while generating the income. Now suppose the bulk order for the shawls comes and the manpower is less. In that case, quality is compromised because the order has to be fulfilled within a specific time period. Then what happens is the good quality of shawls are not generated or not manufactured, and the poor quality of shawls are being exported or are being sold in the market. Though the income is generated, but then the trust and the sustainability is reduced. Quality of goods produced, authenticity of services offered, these should be maintained, and other issues include the recruitment and the costing part, which we have already discussed. Now it is important to understand why income generation is required. Income is to be generated by the NGOs on a regular basis because there may be reasons for decline in overseas income, that is funding from outside. Donors might be interfering because if the donors are providing the money, the donors would like to have their say in the working of NGOs. Survival and sustainability of NGOs, that is very important. That is why income is to be generated. Utilizing the resources in a proper manner, and then limited funds. And the income is required for community development also. That is why in-house income generation is very, very important for NGOs because they cannot rely only on the overseas income or the funding from outside or the donations from different sectors or different areas of for the community development. So that is why income generation is very important. Now if we see the activities and the importance of income generation, there are certain activities which are to be covered, like decline in overseas income, the reluctance of developed countries and foundations to fund the developing countries, that can be one of the reasons, complications arising out of the statutory requirement due to FCRA rules, increasing levels of competition for international grants because there are a number of NGOs booming up, so every NGO would like to have the overseas income or the funding from abroad. So in that case, the competition increases and the grants reduce. Donor interference. Donors set impossible conditions for giving funds. They set some impossible targets which may not be adhered to by the NGOs who are going for donations. They may not understand the context and situations in which a particular NGO is working. So they provide their own set of views which may not be compatible with the NGOs who is going for that donation. Donors may tend to change the vision and mission of a project, which is one of the most difficult aspects for the NGO which has been registered for a special cause, and donors become more authoritative, which again provides a kind of problems for NGOs. So donor interference is also one of the reasons why in-house income should be generated. The another reason is the sustainability of NGOs. For surviving, NGOs require a certain kind of income. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for them to sustain in the competitive world. So it makes an organization, the income generation makes an organization self-sustaining and self-reliant. And in case of premature closure of NGOs, employees and volunteers can sustain themselves on the profit-making business if the NGO is converted into a company, or if the NGO is manufacturing certain kinds of goods and produces which can go into the market. Income generation can also reduce the uncertainty in the future cash flows, and this can help in the continuous development of capital funds. Limited funds. Income earned can support the deficit of funds in adverse conditions, as I spoke, in the survival of NGOs in the difficult times. These kinds of income generation activities can help the NGOs to survive. Incapability of the funding agencies to fund the entire operations, and scarcity of interested donors. So if the funds are limited but the income is generated in-house, that will help the NGOs to survive. Resource utilization. NGOs can utilize their fixed assets by deploying them for running income generating entities, and they can also utilize the expertise or skills of local people to whom they are serving. Donors also offer help in the form of technical know-how or equipment which can be used for generating the income. Another aspect is community development, setting up small enterprises which creates the employment opportunities, and this happens usually through self-help groups. Engaging local people in such enterprises also provides income to such people, and overall improvement in the standard of living, that is also very important. Now all these activities, they help in generating the income, in-house income for the NGOs, and they help the NGOs to work for the betterment of the society. In the next session, we would be seeing the fundraising campaigns, and that is also one way to raise the funds and to sustain in the competitive market. Thank you so much.